For years, the gossip blog Crazy Days and Nights thrived on its mysterious and salacious blind items, painting a dark picture of Hollywood's elite. But one figure stood out from the rest, an enigmatic commenter known as Himmmm, 4Ms. His posts hinted at deep industry connections, shocking insider knowledge, and an unfiltered willingness to accuse A-list celebrities of horrifying crimes.
For the sake of the conversation here, I'm just going to refer to him as him, not one of the hymns or numbers or whatever, just him. Because that's how I think of him. Somebody who has been a long time contributor to the site, somebody to talk to, somebody who...
But who was he really? Was he some believed a Hollywood insider, or was he something else entirely? We're going to get into it, because today we are peeling back the layers of deception to expose the true identity of Mr. Himmmm and how his credibility and ultimately his life unraveled. And this was one of Enty Lawyer's main inner circle layers. So let's get into the myth of Mr. Himmmm. You're following Crazy Days and Nights in the late 2000s and in the early 2010s. You probably saw the name Himmmm, Himmmm, pop up repeatedly in the comments. Unlike other anonymous users guessing the answers to Enty's blind items, Himmmm always had a flair for storytelling, dropping lengthy, page worth lengthy, dramatic accounts of Hollywood scandals.
Somebody who, when he would write, and it was never short, and I said that in the post today, it was never short. It would just go on and on and on. He would say, I'm going to send you a blind item. And at first, when he would send me blind items, he would, it would be up to me to put in the descriptions. Probably for the first half decade, maybe longer. It was up to me to put in the descriptions. And if you've ever read Himmmm Blind, they are exceedingly long and filled with people, sometimes 30 or 40 people. I especially remember the Playboy mansion tapes. I can't even begin that he did not write descriptions for those. I had to go in and write descriptions. And a lot of the people I think, like, who? Because there's always so many studio heads and producers and things, and it's really hard to come up with descriptions. It would take me an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, just to come up with descriptions for all the people. To break the things into paragraphs, because it would just be one long stream of consciousness. But that's kind of what made him special. That world for thousands of words. But even those thousands of words, everybody loved them. Nobody ever said, "Oh, this is too long. I don't have time." Nobody said, "Oh, just give me the cliff notes," because there's no way that there could be any cliff notes for one of these.
As if he had personally witnessed them. And that was the kicker. Himmmm didn't just comment. He implied he was an industry insider. Some believed he was the actor, maybe even Robert Downey Jr. himself, due to the way his stories seemed to have intimate knowledge of certain stars and projects. The rumors then gained so much traction that RGJ's publicist had to issue a denial, stating outright that Robert Downey Jr. was not involved in Crazy Days and Nights, which again, we covered in the last episode. Yet, the speculation didn't stop. If anything, it grew. It kept on growing and growing. So what made him different from other gossip bloggers or commenters? It was the sheer audacity of his claims. Himmmm would spin elaborate tales, suggesting that major Hollywood stars were involved in the unspeakable crimes, murder, abuse, trafficking. He didn't just hint, he named names, often in ways that made the blog's audience gasp. One of his most infamous posts alleged that a well-known actress had been horrifically abused by her father and multiple Hollywood figures. That went extreme viral. It was a turning point, drawing mainstream media attention to Crazy Days and Nights again and fueling Enty's credibility as a so-called Hollywood insider.
Some other stuff. And I said either way, the Crazy Days and Nights crowd is going bananas. Not only did we receive 2 different tips about this within 1 hour of Himm's comment going up, the comments associated thread has grown to 827 postings from around 600 when Himm first posted his Douglas allegations and less than 200 when he posted his comments on O'Neill. Most of the comments about Himm's Douglas allegation are supportive along the lines of this one, which read in part to him, "You rock, dude. So much. Out of respect for you and your cojones to say what you said." Another one said, "All I can say is a big thank you. I can only speculate on your identity, but if you are who most people think you are, I'm happy that you've chosen to be one of us here at the site." And I think that kind of, just the perfect kind of situation where you get all that knowledge put in front of you, calling out somebody for what they did, making sure that the victims are never forgotten, and that the predators should not be given any kind of a claim, or at least should have to account for it.
The site thrived on this kind of attention. That post got millions and millions of views. Probably one of the most famous posts to date by him. But there was a problem, because while Enty himself carefully crafted blind items that skirted legal repercussions, Himm was reckless. He made wild accusations without proof, and over time, even the most devoted Crazy Days and Nights followers started to question how legitimate his so-called insider knowledge really was. For years, Himm remained an enigma, but eventually the truth started to surface as more and more players started coming out of the works. But the first crack, his identity was linked to Talley Griffith, a man who was not an A-list actor or music industry mogul, but instead a former film industry hopeful from Virginia. Griffith wasn't a Hollywood power player. He was just someone who wanted to be. They hinted that Himm could have been for Hollywood insiders, but obviously he wasn't. He was Talley from Virginia. People who knew him described him as someone obsessed with the entertainment world, with a tendency to exaggerate his connections. And while he did have some ties to the industry, he was far from powerful figure he presented himself as. But the real shocker came in 2019. A lot of real shockers. Talley Griffith's fiancée, who had long been in the background of his online activity, stepped forward after his death as he unalived himself as...
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the podcast. Tough day today. Very, very tough day. I don't know where exactly this episode's going to go. I don't even know where to begin. I guess it's good to start at the beginning. So yesterday morning, I got a message, and it was pretty cryptic. 8:39 in the morning. And it just said, "Is he really dead?" Which is pretty cryptic as far as that kind of thing goes. I'm thinking to myself, I start Googling and wondering if some celebrity's dead and that I should have known about. And then I asked the question, who's dead? And they answered me right back. And it was one of the Himms, and I can't keep track of the numbers. But it's someone that I know belongs. And I said, I have no idea. I said, where'd you hear that from? And they told me. But there weren't any other details, really. There was details on how he did it. And I was under the impression, I guess, that there were witnesses, but now I'm hearing that maybe there weren't any witnesses, just that he took his own life. And I guess I just assumed from where it occurred that there were some witnesses. But I guess I just, it's so many conspiracy theories about so many things, and, this particular one, it's just, reaching out for help. Just, if anybody needs help or needs to talk, I will talk to you. And all throughout the day, yesterday, kind of digging around, and then I posted last night saying that, still digging into this because I was not really getting a lot of answers. And, the couple of people who knew about it. It was just the base details. So that's what I posted last night, and then today, again, trying to check it out all day, and then finally right before I posted this afternoon, there was confirmation. For the sake of the conversation here, I'm just going to refer to him as him, not one of the hymns or numbers or whatever, just him. Because that's how I think of him. Somebody who has been a long, long time contributor to the site, somebody to talk to, somebody who...
As the truth started coming out about him, who he was, his lies, and that he was also targeting female fans, but she revealed just how deep his delusions had gone. She claimed that his life had spiraled under the weight of the lies that he had told online. He had created an entire persona, one that got away from him. Talley Griffith died by unaliving himself in 2019. And with that, the him persona, once an internet obsession, faded into oblivion. For Enty, in Crazy Days and Nights, the loss of him marked a turning point. At his peak, Himm's comments had given Enty's blog an air of authenticity. The idea that someone, anyone connected to Hollywood was spilling these stories gave CDAN its reputation as the real Hollywood dirt sheet. But once the truth about Talley Griffith came out, it became clear that Himmmm was never a Hollywood insider. He was just another guy with internet access, a big imagination, and a hunger for attention. For many industry professionals, this was confirmation that Crazy Days and Nights had never been legitimate. It never had been inside information. It had been an illusion, a carefully constructed house of cards built on internet speculation, fabricated connections, and outright lies. Lies upon lies upon lies. But let's get into the aftermath. So where does this leave the legacy of him? For some, he'll always be remembered as the rogue commenter who made Crazy Days and Nights a must-read site in its prime. For others, he is a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked internet rumors and anonymous gossip culture. And we will be getting more into that when we get into the Diana Jenkins vibes. And for Enty, he lost a key part of his mythos. The mystery of him was one of the things that kept Crazy Days and Nights feeling more like it was just a blog. It was a secret, an insider's club where people in the know gathered to expose Hollywood's dark underbelly. Without him, the cracks in Enty's empire became even more visible. More people began questioning whether any of his lines had ever been real, or if they were simply another long con designed to keep people guessing, keep them reading, and keep the money rolling in. And then there comes Epstein, and then comes the Me Too movement, just to fuel some more fames. But we'll get into that. So there you have it, the truth behind him. Not an A-list insider, not a Hollywood rebel, but a man lost in his own fantasy, whose actions had real consequences. The internet has a way of elevating the mysterious, turning whispers into legends. But when the truth finally comes out, those legends often crumble.
Tune into the buzz, it's the talk of the day. From Bravo shows to the latest celeb spree, we've got the tea, come sip it with me. Dani, Pop Culture Exposé, we're spilling all the secrets every